Living like a king is a phrase often said, but rarely understood in its truest sense. Now is your time to find out. Join us as we unveil the homes where the world's wealthiest leaders reside, far beyond the reach of common imagination. King of Morocco, living in not one, not two, but 4 royal palaces. The King of Morocco gracefully defies our expectations in a place where legends of simplicity abound and sand dunes and desert winds prevail. A modest Arabian ruler, if you can call extravagant living a kind of humility. The king's small collection of 4 extraordinarily ornate palaces at Casablanca, Fez, Marrakesh and Rabat begs admiration for his attempt to avoid going overboard. When you have access to a private theatre, helipad and royal spa, it is obvious that moderation is essential. Let's begin our exploration of this world of subtle luxury at the Dar al-Maksen in Fez. It's a palace that, when set against the surrounding desert landscape, makes a bold statement. Beautiful gardens, impressive fountains that surpass even the most elaborate water shows, and of course marble flooring that will most likely give you the impression that you are walking on clouds. Since you're royalty, why settle for ordinary? The beauty doesn't stop there though. The king's main residence is the Raoula Palace in Rabat, and from the outside, you'd believe it was another architectural marvel costing billions of dollars. But it's a royal sanctuary, not just a palace. Complete with a private cinema because Netflix and shows are so popular, a helicopter for those spontaneous royal landings, and a royal spa because, well, being a king is a demanding job. How much does it cost these mansions to run? A mere 900,000 dollars per day, who? A chump change for a king or queen who appreciates finer things in life? And let us not overlook these palaces' historical significance. Constructed by caliphs, sultans, and even the occasional emperor, these structures have endured the test of time and fashion, becoming the pinnacle of regal luxury. Dating back to 1183, the royal palace, located in a portion of Marrakech's Kasbah, begs the question of what modern conveniences a sultan needed at the time. In the 21st century, the Moroccan Royal Guard, a culinary school for royal family members, a library housing Hassan II's manuscript collection, and a school for royal family members may all be found in Dar al-Maksen. After all, even monarchs need a good couscous recipe. However, we must not overlook the splendor found within the palace's walls, the meccos. The regal magic happens in these formal courtyards or squares. The meccos are the center of royal social life, whether they are administering justice, welcoming diplomats, or organizing outdoor celebrations. After all, without a square for regal performances, what good is a palace? One can only imagine the daily challenges of reigning with such restraint in the Kingdom of Morocco, where kings strive for modesty, yet castles are equipped with helipads and royal baths. After all, a billion-dollar palace is only a fundamental requirement when you're a king, right? Our next entry will undoubtedly concur as well. Simply look at Vladimir Putin's situation. Vladimir Putin's modest home. A man of the people, the president is cognizant of the difficulties faced by the typical Russian citizen. Putin just has one Moscow mid-sized flat, according to the official Russian government website. If you believe that, then I have a piece of real estate on the moon that I'd like to sell you. In reality, President Vladimir Putin resides in an opulent, ultra-modern home on the outskirts of Moscow, just 20 minutes from the Kremlin. What in the world could take 20 minutes to get from the outskirts to the heart of Moscow, you ask? That isn't feasible. If you had to use public highways, you would be correct. Putin's home in Novo-Ogaryovo, Russia, is fortunately connected to the Kremlin via a 60 million private road. However, the palace itself is the topic of our discussion. To put it another way, you wouldn't want to leave. This helps to understand Putin's nearly 25-year tenure in office. I mean, come on. Who would want to say goodbye to the house's indoor heated pool, its cold water plunge pools, its state-of-the-art gym, and its sauna? It is understandable that Putin works out for over 4 hours every day. Anyone would have those amazing abs in such a luxurious setting. But there's still more. Putin enjoys showing off at other state-owned estates, such as the one in Kaliningrad, when Novoagiovo becomes a little too monotonous. After all, nothing shouts man of the people like a large mansion with a view of the Baltic Sea. Putin, though, likes the Black Sea because it's warmer and less salty. So, because why not, he also owns a 1 billion summer home next to Gelendzhik that was inspired by old European palaces. As everyone knows, a palace wouldn't be complete without a hockey rink, so it even has one. Furthermore, Putin can actually play hockey fairly well. Regretfully, he entered politics. This Italianate palace complex, first made public by whistleblower Sergei Kolesnikov, is evidence of Putin's modesty. It contains a house, arboretum, greenhouse, helipad, ice palace, church, amphitheater, tea house, and even a gas station, because you never know when you might run out of fuel while meandering through your own rich estate, all at an estimated cost of over 100 billion rubles, or about $1 billion. Everything a president may possibly require is located inside the main structure. The amenities include a swimming pool, an aqua discotheque setup, saunas, Turkish baths, shops selling meat, fish, vegetables and desserts, a warehouse that can accommodate all necessities, a reading room, a music lounge, a hookah bar, a theatre, a movie theatre, a wine cellar, a casino, and an enormous 2,800 square foot master bedroom. Not to be forgotten, though, is the exclusive exercise facility, which apparently cost more than 100,000. Regular gyms aren't good enough when you're Vladimir Putin. It's presumably where he spends countless hours keeping up that amazing body. After all, it takes a lot of commitment to be a country's leader and flaunt your biceps. Yes, Vlad is managing to get by, so don't worry about him. Furthermore, despite the claims of certain detractors that he is living the life of a king while his citizens suffer, this couldn't be further from the reality. Take a peek at this king's lifestyle. It's far more opulent. King of Dubai. The Al Maktoum family is the most powerful in Dubai's world of excessive splendor. It would be a crime against monarchy to rule a nation with 20 billion to spare and not live in a palace. Do not be alarmed. The Al Maktoum family continues the great legacy of living opulently, beginning with their crown gem, the magnificent 100,000 square foot Zabil Palace, which is tucked away in the center of Dubai. With its beautiful gardens and fountains that contradict the parched desert's nature, Zabil Palace is a monument to the family's immaculate taste. With its domes and arches, traditional Arabic architectural features, the palace is more than just a place to live. It's an architectural wonder. Inside, the opulence is unrestrained, with gold, silver, and ivory making up the majority of the ornate decor. Is it possible that the ruling family employed Midas personally to design their interiors? This regal residence has luxuries that would make an upscale resort blush. A royal spa, movie theatre, fitness centre, and private pool. An essential for kings struggling with the day-to-day pressures of governing. Not to be overlooked are the useful elements. There's a stable where even the family's horses and camels live in quarters that rival the affluence, and multiple helipads for those spontaneous royal landings. You might wonder, how much does living so royal cost? Just 500 million. Small change for a family which views the 1.5 billion Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest structure, as a haphazard investment. As if it weren't extravagant enough, they added the 12 billion Palm Jumeirah, an engineering marvel that is currently home to opulent hotels. But hold on, the real estate projects of the Al Maktoum family extend beyond Dubai's beautiful beaches. They have penetrated international borders, gaining a portion of the UK greater than the possessions of the British royal family. A 63,000-acre estate in Scotland, featuring a golf course and a castle, demonstrates how the Al Maktoums continue to shine royally even in the bleak UK. Even the most sophisticated city, London, was powerless to resist their property invasion. At a whopping $138 million, a property in Kensington Palace Gardens, often known as Billionaires Row, boasts 45 bedrooms, a swimming pool, a movie theatre, and a private hospital. Obviously essential. The Al Maktoum family, tired of their European travels, extended their regal reach to warm Morocco. The 200 million Palais Namaskar is a refuge of 41 villas, a private helicopter, a spa, and a swimming pool that is tucked away in Marrakech's desert. The jewel in the crown of the world's most expensive dwellings list is a breathtaking 323 million penthouse with a view of Monaco. It is the most costly flat to date and is among the top 10 most expensive properties worldwide. Our next entry, in contrast, appears to be impoverished, yet I wouldn't mind switching houses. The Prince of Liechtenstein. There is a story of grandeur in the charming country of Liechtenstein that would make even the most frivolous European kings blush with jealousy. The country's size is inversely correlated with the riches of its royal dynasty. The Liechtenstein royal family appears to have perfected the art of living large for a kingdom that is easy to notice on a map, as seen by the various castles and palaces they have scattered around Austria and Czechia. Let's begin at the family museum turned ancestral seat, Liechtenstein Castle, located in Lower Austria. After all, why limit yourself to a family photo album when you can have a whole castle filled with memories of bygone feudal eras? Given that the breathtaking Wilfersdorf Castle is situated in Lower Austria, it appears that this area serves as a breeding ground for Liechtenstein castles. It's the prince's Austrian country estate, not just a castle. One palace is never enough when you're a royal, after all. In addition, Voltis Castle and Lednice Castle, which were originally the major residences of the Liechtenstein princes until the troubles of World War II and their eventual seizure, may bring back sentimental memories of Czech history. Hold your doubts, though. We haven't yet arrived at the height of aristocratic extravagance, Castle Vaduz. For a short 900 years, the Liechtenstein royal family has called this 12th century stronghold home. Really, only a moment in the years of a castle. It's closed to the general public except on one particular day when commoners can fantasize about living in a 130-room mansion with a wine cellar that holds more than 20,000 bottles, and it overlooks the Rhine River and the Swiss Alps. Indeed, Vaduz Castle is a vineyard with a view, not merely a place to live. There's a ballroom to dance away your princely concerns, a library filled with more books than you'll ever read, and private apartments and guest rooms because, well, sometimes you just need a change of scenery inside your own castle. Not to mention the theatre, the museum, and the chapel, because it would be too plebeian to live in a castle without having a personal art collection. The royal family enjoys a life of fairy tale opulence in the tiny principality of Liechtenstein, where the land may be little but the castles are fit for giants. However, in terms of international leaders' residences, they appear to be small. Though some may consider it extravagant, the estate of Liechtenstein pales in comparison to that of the world's richest royal family. Simply wait and observe. With a stunning net worth of 1.7 trillion, the Al Saud family, the kings of Saudi Arabia, are sometimes regarded as the richest royal family in the world and surely know how to live life to the fullest. Of course, this also applies to their houses and apartments, since, really, who would want to live in something that isn't perfect? First, let's look at some of their more humble real estate offerings. Riyadh's Al Yamama Palace only cost 2.5 billion. However, That was actually the United Kingdom's way of saying thank you for a fairly profitable arms transaction. Complete with more than 200 baths and 50 rooms, this modest retreat for the royal family features a white marble facade and gold-plated embellishments. Since nobody wants to give, let's now discuss the Al Auja Palace, a fascinating twist on luxury. This architectural marvel transforms a patch of barren desert terrain into a haven of verdant gardens and tranquil lakes by fusing traditional Arabian architectural elements with contemporary elements. This palace was given a 500 million makeover, making it a work of art suitable for a monarch who likes to spend his evenings in elegance. The 500 million plus Urga Palace is the gem in the crown, though. Leaked pictures, however they remain mysterious, show lavish furniture, elaborate decor, and an expensive price tag that only the wealthiest could pay. This oasis is not for sale to the aspiring millionaire monarch, so they are left to dream of the opulent existence behind its dazzling white marble exterior. Stepping outside Saudi Arabia, the Al Saud family demonstrates its worldwide real estate acumen. Let me introduce you to Chateau Louis XIV, a 300 million French chateau that would make even the Sun King appear impoverished. This mansion features gardens with specimens of plants, a deluxe swimming pool, and a private cinema, all decorated with golden accents evoking 17th century French opulence. As impressive as this 300 million retreat is, it is nothing compared to their home property in Mecca, the 3.5 billion Hotel Abraj Kodai. For how is it possible to perform the Hajj without having access to an opulent 3.5 billion place to stay? With 10,000 rooms, 70 restaurants, and gold-covered private levels for the Crown Prince, this soon-to-be luxury sanctuary is designed to satisfy the most affluent of patrons. Neom, a self-sustaining linear city, envisioned to turn the Saudi Arabian desert into a 1.1 trillion utopia, is the most ambitious concept of them all. The Al Saud family's playground is future-proof because to its dedication to plant-covered landscapes and hydrogen-fueled vehicles. Think again if you believe that a simple residence is all that comes with being a millionaire. With their opulent homes, the Al Sauds redefine luxury and leave the rest of us in awe of their regal magnificence. Each dwelling becomes a tribute to their extravagant taste. Two international leaders, however, lead even more luxurious lives. Let's begin with the most apparent, the Bruneian Sultan. Yes, the guy lives in the lap of luxury after spending 130 million to turn his jet into a golden one and an additional 20,000 on a haircut. Who would have thought? Brunei's Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah epitomizes what it means to be a monarch. He can reach everything. One naturally expects nothing less than the greatest in luxury when it comes to his home. The modest Istana Nurul Iman Palace is home to the royal family's ultimate luxury. This palace, which is billed as the largest residential palace in the world, was designed by the renowned Leandro V. Loxon. It is an architectural marvel that begs to be understood as just like any other home, only 2 million times bigger. The Istana Nurul Iman, which sprawls along the gorgeous Brunei River, has 1,188 rooms, 257 bathrooms for those who don't need a restroom in every corner, and a mosque that can hold just 1,500 people. Its design reflects Brunei's Islamic and Malay inspirations, not to mention its ardent love to gold. The palace is a modest home that is ideal for small parties and get-togethers. The palace is more than just a home. Its estimated value is 1.4 billion. It is a true museum of opulence. Countless chandeliers, 51,000 light bulbs, and 44 stairwells betray the palace's lack of theatrical flair. And although the king spends much of his time in his golden palace, his children have a little more of a worldly outlook. The renowned son, Prince Mateen, has an impressive real estate holdings valued at just 100 million. At a mere 15 million, his Beverly Hills mansion is simply a quaint cottage, complete with a private pool, spa, and gym. With its stunning views of the Mediterranean, this 5 million Marbella villa is an absolute deal for any discerning royal. Not to be forgotten is the prince's apartment in Mayfair, a charming little pied-à-terre in one of the less fashionable parts of London. Here, in all of his modesty, Prince Mateen takes pleasure in a 2 million or so blend of traditional and modern elements. Really, peanuts. Yes, the family does not live a simple lifestyle. And although their house is undoubtedly the largest in the world, King Charles resides in the most costly one. The British King's residence will undoubtedly be a magnificent location. After all, modesty isn't really a necessary quality when you've enslaved half of humanity at one point. Is it shocking then that Charles III, the King of Great Britain, resides in the most expensive house ever built? At a mind-boggling 5 billion, one might assume that this mansion is not that costly. That is an approximation, though. The palace is filled with priceless treasures that add to its overall value. Furthermore, the king cannot just decide to sell it. In the magnificent heritage of refined British style, Buckingham Palace remains the height of opulence. Almost as costly as a parking space in central London, this neoclassical gem is an imperial palace from top to bottom. The neoclassical design of Buckingham Palace's facade, which features exquisite columns, balconies and statues, is a mesmerizing sight. With its enormous 830,000 square feet and 775 rooms that have seen the ups and downs of history, the palace is truly stunning. In the middle of the bustling metropolis, the immaculate 42-acre garden with its lake, tennis court, and helicopter landing spot is a haven of peace. Built as a townhouse for the Duke of Buckingham in the early 1700s, the palace was eventually purchased by King George III and became the official residence of the British monarch when Queen Victoria took the throne in 1837. It has undergone numerous modifications over the years, fusing contemporary comfort with classic elegance. The inside of the palace bears witness to the sophisticated taste of the British royal family. State functions are held in the music room, which has a grand piano and elaborate chandeliers. An outstanding chamber in the castle is the White Drawing Room, with its golden decor and fine artwork. The throne room exudes royal authority with its crimson velvet, golden frames, and elaborate needlework. Beyond its opulence, Buckingham Palace has useful features like a private jewelry studio and post office. The historically significant semi-state apartments are used for everything from ceremonial receptions for foreign dignitaries to small luncheon parties. The palace's importance goes beyond its stunning architecture. It is the focal point of official events, royal hospitality, and times of joy and sorrow for the country. The royal family's appearances at important ceremonies are now inextricably linked to the great balcony on the east front. The vast garden, the biggest private garden in London, is just next to the palace. Every year, garden parties and royal milestone celebrations are held there. The famous gold state coach and the royal carriages are kept in the John Nash-designed Royal Mews. More than just a place to live, Buckingham Palace is a living reminder of the British monarchy's illustrious past and timeless grace. You'll agree that it's inspiring stuff, but there's much more to learn about the extravagant and filthy affluent world. We've chosen a video that we think you'll enjoy. Tap it to start watching.